Happy Monday, ladies and gentlemen. Today is going to be a little different than most Mondays. Usually I go work at iSkelter from 8 to 12, but today I have a photo shoot at 11, so I can't show up to my photo shoot covered in sawdust, so I had to take the day off of iSkelter, which is fine. They're super flexible and cool like that, so it makes for a really good side gig when I'm trying to do all this stuff on my own. So that being said, I did want to get on here and talk a little bit about the time-restricted feeding thing that I'm doing right now, between the whole only eating between noon and 9 p.m. and not eating between 9 p.m. and noon. So that being said, first let's roll that intro and then we'll get into this update regarding what I'm doing with my food. So, roll intro! Alright, so if you watched a couple episodes ago, I was talking about this thing called time-restricted feeding, which basically means that you only eat within a time restriction. That window for me, I chose a 9-hour window because I saw some interviews from a researcher that had said that she saw benefits for endurance when the window was kept at 9 hours as opposed to 12. I'm not really sure where the science is behind that, but I'm continuing to do more research about it and I'm trying to become more educated about it. I did have a really good conversation yesterday with a friend of mine who's a doctor. He's really into nutrition and what it means for fitness and for health. And he was telling me about how during a fasting window, during that like 15 hours of fasting that I basically do, the body is able to actually spend more time. So basically there's an increase in T cells, which are like the cells in your blood that attack, foreign things and toxins and things like that. And so he said that there was an increase in T cells and that the feeding window allowed the T cells to actually attack toxins and things in your body, waste, etc., and kind of get rid of that. And so for general health, it's actually really, really positive effect. The other thing I learned was your body learns to burn fat better during that fasting window because that's its only fuel source. So there's actually a pretty amazing burn of fat during that time that over the course of, time, maybe 2-3 months, you actually start to see a pretty dramatic burn of your fat reserves. So a drop in body fat, it's always a good goal for me to have is to drop body fat and replace it with some muscle. So that's a really positive thing. And yeah, I mean, basically the more research I do about it, the more positive the effects seem to be. And like, it's not any kind of like restricted, like there's no, the diet itself, it's not really a diet because it's not like I'm cutting necessarily anything out. It's not like I'm following a specific like paleo or ketogenic or any type of diet. I'm simply right now, the only change I've made is that I only eat between those 2 hours, noon and 9. And that in and of itself, there's been some reports that because your body is burning more fat, is eating up the fat that it stores during the fasting window, and also because it becomes more efficient at taking the nutrients you do eat and using them for what it needs rather than storing them. There's actually a marked increase in muscle if all you're doing is restricting your eating within that like 9 to 12 or 8 to 12 hour window. So, I mean, obviously it's not gonna be a dramatic increase in muscle. It's not like without ever exercising, if you just follow that 9-hour window or 10-hour window and you don't exercise at all, it's not like you're gonna get jacked. But there is supposedly, at least in rodents, in tests on rodents, they've seen an actual increase in muscle mass when they're just restricted to eating within that window. So that all being said, I started this last week, and up until yesterday, yesterday I actually didn't even eat until 1:30 p.m. because I was just not hungry. Today, however, has been a little bit of a difference, and I don't know if it's because I ate an earlier dinner than I have been, and so in a way, I've actually been fasting a little longer than the typical 15 hours that I do until noon. But today I've definitely been feeling hungry since like 9:30 a.m. It's 10 o'clock right now. I'm definitely feeling more hungry than I have the last few days. But what I'm gonna do is just drink drink a bunch of water and just try to, I only have 2 more hours of the fast until noon, and then I get to eat. And so just drink some water. Usually a glass of water can hold me over for about another hour or so. And so as long as I'm drinking water between now and noon, I think I'll be okay. And then after my photo shoot, which is at 11, which I have to leave for soon, I will just grab a bite to eat afterwards. So yeah. So that's kind of the update. I'm definitely feeling good, besides occasionally feeling hungry. The other thing is that I've been hearing a lot from people that do this is that they've learned that feeling hungry is not necessarily a bad thing. So we live in a very abundant society here in the US, where as soon as you feel hungry, you're grabbing something to eat, you're grabbing a snack, you're eating to get rid of that. So I've been hearing a lot from people saying that, it's not bad to feel hungry. It's not unhealthy to feel hungry, and sticking to your plan, sticking to your goals, etc. It's not a negative to feel that hunger. So that's one thing I'm kind of learning. The other thing too that I realized yesterday that I hadn't felt for the last, since I started this, is usually when I was eating like big breakfasts and then lunch and then kind of snacking throughout the day, around 3-4 o'clock p.m. I'd start to feel this really massive slump in energy. And if you think about it, 3 or 4 o'clock p.m. is what, 12 hours, 10 hours. It's like 10 hours after I had eaten breakfast, and that is totally fits within like this circadian clock of like you've been eating for the last 10 hours and now your body's getting tired and ready to go to sleep, and then you actually kind of have to force your way to stay awake until you actually go to bed. And so what I've been feeling lately since I started this is that between 12, I start eating at 12 and I don't feel that energy slump at all. 3 or 4 p.m. comes around and I'm eating, I'm working, and a lot of times I'm working out, and I don't feel that energy slump at all. So this is just some of the effects that I've felt doing this thing so far after a week. I'm sure I'll continue to update you guys. Anyway, the point is, that's the update. Now we're gonna go to the photo shoot and then get some food, and then I think I'm gonna do CrossFit a little later. So thanks for listening. Hope it was interesting. If you guys are interested in any of this intermittent fasting / time restricted feeding thing, and you guys want to start a conversation down in the comments, you have any questions or anything, I'd love to start a conversation just for me to be able to talk about it, for you guys to be able to learn about it, and that might entice me to do some more specific research to answer your questions, etc., etc., etc. So let's just start a conversation about it. Comment below if you have any questions or if you have any thoughts about it, and yeah, let's go to the photo shoot. Peace. Hey Ben, what's the fitness lesson of the day?
I'm trying not to be vulgar. The best exercise you can do is push-backs.
What are those?
Push back from the table.
Oh, like stop eating?
Yeah. 3 sets of stop eating so much crap.
This was episode 1 of Fitness Tips of the Day with Ben. Thanks, Ben.
Probably the first and last.
All right, so I'm on my way to CrossFit now, and I don't want to film during the class because I've been doing that the last few times, and I just kind of want to focus on working out. So I'm not going to film during CrossFit, so I'll see you guys afterwards. Bye.